What's up, guys? Welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Overwatch League Eastern Division play-in. So we got 2 matches, 3 teams. Before we dive into that, I'd like to thank all you guys for joining me. If you guys have been here for 1 day or for 5 years, thank you very much. Your support is greatly, greatly appreciated. Love having you in here. Thank you very much. If you're new, thanks a lot for stopping by. I do Overwatch League content 2 to 3 times a week. We're going to get a little content heavy here going into the playoffs, the awards, and all of the whatnot and what have you going on, as well as playoff games. And then we have the Anaheim playoffs, or the play-in games, I should say. And then we have the Anaheim actual playoffs where there's matches every day. I'm going to try and get a couple of episodes in between, jockeying in between them. And we're going to talk about that. And, of course, the grand finals and all that coming up. Today, we are going to be talking about the APAC play-ins. So, to get started on that, we're not going to go over how we got here because it's talking about the East and, we'll talk about the 3 teams, the 2 matches, and potentially who I think is going to go. So, we have 3 teams that, it's a smaller division. Honestly, I don't know if any of these teams would have maintained up in the top in the West. They probably would have. At least maybe Hangzhou early. Chengdu and Guangzhou is hard to say. Guangzhou could have dug themselves a hole. But they all play the same amount of matches and all that stuff. But anyway, that aside. So let's talk about the 3 teams. We have the Hangzhou Spark, the Chengdu Hunters, and the Guangzhou Charge. Of those 3 teams right now, in my estimation, the team that's playing the absolute best is the Guangzhou Charge. They came around, they got picked a bunch of guys up. They got Piggy, they got Xerneas, they got Faraway, Jimmy, Aprita. They're playing really, really well right now. And there is a meta that is honestly going to work out and pay dividends for them if they invest into, which they did a little bit last week, invest into the Zarya meta with Lucio Baptiste or however they want to run that as far as what they're playing. They're looking really good. They're scary if you're above them. You're Philly Seoul or Shanghai. You don't want to play them necessarily. Other 2 teams are kind of on their back feet. Hangzhou I think they're 2-14 in the last 2 stages, plus added on to the end of mid-season. They're not playing very, very well, needless to say. Only 2 matches they've won in that stretch. They beat the Valiant on August 27th, and they beat the Dynasty last weekend. Those are the only 2 matches they've won since the mid-season Madness tournament. How fucking bad is that? And they're getting Chungooned at the wrong time. Let's just put it that way. They have a massive roster. They're playing. They brought in Neko. They brought in a bunch of guys. But the thing is they have Alpha Yi and Shy, who are their carries. The problem is the metas aren't working out the way you would want them to as far as tank-wise for Bernard and Gushue. You think Bernard would be decent enough on the Zarya or the Diva, but, if you want to run Winston, which they do, you got Gushue. But it's just not working out. I don't know what to say about this team other than they're very disappointing because they started off hot. I bought in, and, it's one of those. I knew what I was getting my ass into when I did that. I said, I'm doing this, but, frickin' they're going to get Changgooned. And sure as shit, they got Changgooned. And we're right in the middle of it at the end of the season. And, it's really hard to judge what this team can do. Their DPS line is filthy with Shy Alpha Yi. They chose to play Pineapple and Shy most of the time in their match with Guangzhou, which it makes no sense to me. In the first week of the Summer Showdown, they're playing Neko and Teru and Alpha Yi and Shy. I don't understand what's going on with this team. Changgoon's got to have a roster the size of an NFL roster, 52 full man, rotating people in and out, no synergy, all that shit. When they played Seoul And beat Seoul, they also ran Pineapple. So I don't know if they decided to rest Alpha Yi, he was sick, or what. I didn't hear any of the hearsay or any of that kind of stuff. But they probably wanted to see what Pineapple can do. They probably figured they were already in the play-ins, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Give him a shot, see what he does. And it's Chengdu, so you don't know what the hell's up that guy's sleeves, except for jack shit. But another roster swap. Maybe he can pull Jake out of Houston and pull another coach in to play DPS for them. I don't know. I just have no faith in this team right now. I'm just telling you that right now. They somehow squeaked the 4 spot. They beat Seoul. Seoul, I think, was just raring to go for their homestand against Philly. So I think they saw the way the Spark were playing. The Spark beat them a couple times this year too. They beat them the first game of the year. They beat them last week. I don't know. They have some kind of number on Seoul. They might have beat them another time in there too. But who knows? Hangzhou, I have the least faith in them out of any team. Chengdu is the same thing. It's tragic that we have to talk about it this way because they had so much promise going into the season. They scraped it out enough to get into the play-ins. But here's the thing. Tank-wise, I'm not thrilled right now with what they got. Because Daisy, he's pedestrian on the support on the supports. On the tank heroes that he's supposed to be decent at. Zarya, Diva, the off-tank thing. He's not good. Gaga is not as flexible into those, so you're not going to run him unless you're running main tank stuff. You have Leave, and you have the Jinmu. Okay, I'll give you that. End of the day, they're just kind of mediocre. They're a little bit better than the Valiant, and they stacked up some wins on Guangzhou when they were bad. They did what they could do with the resources they had. They did okay. They got themselves into the play-in, so you got to kind of go, okay, that's great. You got here. But I think this is where the journey probably is going to end for them. Who knows? They could pull off some freaking crazy miracle. You never know with this team. And that I just don't like what I see. I think everything except for the tanks excites me. And Jinmu is good to a point. Not as flexible. Getting better with that. But you got Leaf carrying them. Dazi is mediocre. Monk and Nisha are good enough. It's just kind of where they've been at for the last 3 years. We thought this was the year. They're kind of like... They give a Cleveland Browns vibe. You think they're going to get good, and a set of circumstances happen. Yeah, okay, they fire sold. That's different than what the Browns do. But, it's just sad Hunters, sad Pandas, whatever you want to call it. But they're in the play-ins, and they got to face the Charge. So let's talk about that. I think you guys know where this is going after I talked about it already, about the teams, going over them a little bit. So we got Guangzhou taking on Chengdu in the first match. After all that I've said about the 3 teams, we're just going to dive right into my pick here. I'm going to go with Guangzhou 3-1. I'm going to give Chengdu a map. I figured maybe somewhere in there, maybe the push map or something like that. They get a little sneaky map win in. But other than that, I don't see them doing as much against the Charge. You got Piggy playing Zarya. He's fucking good at the off-tank heroes. Let's be honest, guys. Even last year, he did good on all the off-tank stuff. I mean, that's his role. That was his role. I think that Guangzhou wins 3-1 in this matchup. That takes us to the final for the play-ins. Only 2 matches. So Guangzhou is going to go in, play Hangzhou. I am going to go with the Guangzhou Charge to take that 3-0. No, I'm just kidding. I'll give Hangzhou a map as well. Guangzhou 3-1 in that. For all the reasons that I've been talking about with Hangzhou, it's confusion. There's guys in and out. There's too many pieces. Changooning, all that. The thing that they got going for them is they got Alpha Yi and Shy. If those guys pop off, they will destroy any team in the league. But what are you going to do with Tank? I don't like their options on Tank. They're not better than Piggy. You got support-wise, you got 9 million guys in Changoon land. You got a solid backline in Faraway and Xerneas, who as much as we gave him shit last year for doing whatever he did in the playoffs, watching anime or reading manga or whatever he was doing, not paying attention in the scrims, and he got himself kicked off of the Hunters. He's still a good player on the main support. So I just like all of the things except for maybe DPS I would have to go with, and that depends on if they play Pineapple, if there's something happened with Alpha Yi, I don't know. But if it's Alpha Yi Shy, they have a sporting chance. I'll give them a map. Maybe with the pressure situation, they're a little bit better, a little bit more used to it than Guangzhou. Maybe they get 2, but I don't see it. I see it 3-1 Guangzhou. So I have the Guangzhou Charge pulling themselves out of the depths of the East basement 2 stages ago when we said they were the worst team probably in the league. They pick up a bunch of good players, and here they are. Wow, who knew? You get you get a Piggy, you get Xerneas, you get Faraway, you get some of these other guys in here. Wow, you look better. And it's kind of nice to see that. And I also think it's going to be weird seeing a team with a shitty record like that being in any kind of playoff situation anywhere. But that being said, a team that's 9-15 going into the playoffs, and you're going, they have a shot to scare some people. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. I got Guangzhou going. Hopefully they nail that spot. Who knows what's going to happen? It looks like to me that Guangzhou is going to get there. But that's going to do it. Just a quick one. Talk about that the couple of matches we have going on in the East as far as the play-ins go. And then we'll eventually get to play-ins for the West and all that kind of whatnot and what have you. Thank all you guys for joining me. All your sportsmen greatly, greatly appreciate it. It's been for 1 day, 5 years. Thank you very much. If you're new, just checking me out, thank you very, very much for making it through the video. Please hit a like, hit a subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. It helps me out with the algorithms and all the YouTube jazz. All right, guys, this is Misfit. I'm out. Everybody stay safe. Have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you on the next one.